So guys, you guys probably surprised to see me. I was upset with practice. Saw Clay getting ready. Went to talk to him. He was getting ready for this. I told him I'd do it. So, go ahead.
How are you doing? What kind of improvements have you noticed?
I'm doing real good. My body feels good. Just got to get this annoying cast off. My ribs feel good, except when I sneeze. And my head feels so much better. Concussions do linger a little bit. The only things I really deal with now is just headaches and fatigue. But that's why I'm not always exactly on the same routine, but pretty damn close.
Your first day out there, I think, without shades?
It's not lights that bother me. I had to wear shades to protect scars and stuff, but I got all my stitches out so I can put tape over it now, and so the tape protects it.
Give a percentage of like what you're able to do as opposed to when you're all the way back.
I think about, how much percentage you guys give media? How much percentage you give media?
That's a big percentage.
Well, then 0%. As far as like the important stuff, I feel it's about 100%. The biggest thing like I've learned with this stuff is, just when you deal with like fatigue and headaches and stuff is, if I kind of do everything, I kind of pay for it in some ways later. That's like the routine I found out. So like I've really tried to eliminate stuff that kind of that I would say just the fake work stuff, like, which is a big important thing, but like talking to the media, having to break down the team every day, doing stuff like that, I've kind of taken it a little bit easier on. Because one thing I haven't missed anything of film. I watch every single play with the coaches after, with the players. I have had a few team meetings. Normally I do it every day, but I do lose a little when I do stuff like that. So I've just picked and choose a little bit more. But as far as the film and everything, being out there for all the practice periods of going against each other, those are, to me, the most important things of my job, and I've been able to do those every day.
Is your intention to coach the first preseason game next week, or is that still kind of TBD?
Oh, yeah. No, I'm doing the same stuff, guys. I just, I try not to come in here every single day, because I feel if I did, that would take, I want to be able to pull off my normal routine, which is watching hours and hours of tape and getting to the walkthrough at night, being able to watch stuff after that. Eventually I will get there. I would have told you I was there 7 days ago, and they're like, just chill, wait to see how you feel tomorrow. And then I wake up the next morning, I'm like, damn, I'm glad I didn't say that, because sometimes it's a good day and then sometimes the next day is a little bit harder. But as far as the stuff that I think is the most important parts of my job, I've been doing that since day one.
What's your impression, Kyle, 2 weeks in of the team overall from your perspective on the field?
I like our team. I feel like we came into this camp better on paper than we did last year. Just with a number of rookies we were dependent on last year, got to play more, and I love the guys that we've added this year. By no means do I, see how we are come week one. We still got a lot of work to do. Some days we take a step forward, the next day we take 2 steps back, but that's training camp. And a number of the guys that we really want to push to work with, those guys aren't always out there. So just find through those things.
Such a grinder for so long. Is it weird having a bit of an abbreviated schedule for yourself?
It is. I was a little insecure about it at first. I've been a guy, like all of us are, that we could be deathly sick and we're still insecure to go home. So that's kind of just how we are. So it was hard on me. But when I saw kind of the results of some of it, it became easier. What people tell you is kind of right. I was like, yeah, all right, I'll be able to tough through that. And you kind of can tough through anything, but then when you pay for it the next day and you're not as good as something else, you start to be like, all right, I didn't have to tough through that because it made me worse the next day. So those are things I've had to learn a little bit to be better at.
You watch practice now from kind of the deep middle. It's a different perspective. Do you enjoy it? Do you like it? Is there anything that you see in the deep middle next to Lynch that maybe you didn't see when you're up behind the quarterbacks?
A little bit. Sometimes it's harder to find the quarterback. Sometimes it's harder to find the running back. They just pop, but you can see the holes now. Everything develops. That's where I watch it throughout games all the time. Wherever I am on the field, I'm always about 30 yards away from the line of scrimmage so I can see it. And so I got to stand on both sides during games, so I'm used to that. Things look backwards a lot to me when I'm sitting right in the middle there, but I like to be more on the offensive side. That's the perspective I like, and I always like to talk to the quarterbacks and things like that, which you can do more, but it's been good to be able to communicate with Raheem back there and see it from a little different angle.
I could ask 2 questions. For starters, how long is the mustache going to be with you?
It's day to day. It's probably not going to stick eventually. Too many questions about it, I'll probably get rid of it pretty fast. It's something I always have in the summer. My friends have been trying to challenge me to keep it for like the last 4 years, and I always shave it the first day back. But once they all started joking that it saved my life in the crash, I felt like I owed it a little bit longer. So I'm just going to keep it a little bit longer.
Next question is, I want you to feel comfortable, so I have an injury question. Get you back in your routine. But as far as Bosa, taking off the last 3 days due to soreness, is there any reason for concern there?
No, I mean, I never, he was doing great and then he got sore just going through some of the individuals. So, I mean, you wish that didn't happen. But no, there's no concern to where something's happened that is a big setback or anything. But we're waiting until that soreness goes away and evaluating why the soreness has happened. And but I still feel pretty good about that.
I wasn't there the other day. Kyle, are you mad at yourself for getting in the situation?
Yeah, I mean, anytime you cause an accident that can be avoided, you'd feel pretty stupid. I mean, especially when you have a chance to hurt someone else. And so, I think you get mad when you get a ticket at yourself. So it was kind of the same. Things that, I think everyone's done to a degree what I've done. But, dropping a phone and falling all the way to my back seat where I have to fully take my eyes off the road. It's something that I normally wouldn't do. I've had autopilot for 9 years, so I'm pretty comfortable with it. And, who knows what happened when I turned around, whether it malfunctioned or whether I knocked it off. That's something I don't know yet. But regardless, it is always your fault, whether you're an autopilot or not. You can't take your eyes off the road. It's a partnership driving. You don't just turn it over to a computer. And it's a good lesson, no matter how comfortable I am with that I believe someday could save my life or someone else's, or it's really helped me have perspective on that stuff.
You're the leader of this team. Obviously, you're asking your players and your coaches to be responsible. Have you had to speak to that at all to them? Like, hey, I learned from what I did, or don't make this mistake, whatever it might be.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't sit there and feel like I didn't have a ton of guilt over it or anything. I think the word's an accident, and it truly was that way. But you realize how quick and close that stuff can happen. And, when you're going at 20 miles an hour, you're not really in your autopilot. I honestly have zero worries. I have so much trust in that stuff. And that was a good lesson that you can't ever have zero worries. But I think it definitely could be an example for a lot of people.
Returning to coaching in games and noise tolerance, will you still be on the sidelines, or is it going to
Yeah, like I answered all the questions earlier. That was, the first couple of days out of practice, and depending on what side I was standing on, and AC/DC hurt a lot more than some smoother hip hop. But I think those days are over. No noise doesn't bother me like it was. I actually have 2 symptoms, I feel like, and that's headaches and fatigue. And that's all I'm feeling right now.
Can you speak a little bit about the support that you received from Raheem and Clay and Chris throughout this process, and some of the veterans that stood up to?
Yeah, that's actually been the easiest thing for me. When I had it, I would have been shocked if I wasn't able to come here and be able to do everything. It was my first concussion. I didn't really realize how long they would last. They gave me dates, and I kind of laughed. They don't give you dates, but they tell you how long to prepare. And I'm like, yeah, there's no way that'll last that long. So I was actually surprised, and it's what they told me from the beginning, so I won't be surprised again. But each day, just watching our building, all our coaches, starting with Chris to Clay to Raheem to Brant to everybody, everyone upstairs, our players, it made it really easy for me not to worry about me having to do something. Our guys are awesome. We have a pretty well-oiled machine. We've been here for this our 10th year, and those guys made it very easy for me to not do anything stupid.
Will you change your perspective at all on when players are dealing with concussions and haven't gone through it just in the
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, it's, I've been told so much by these guys, don't compare sports concussion to an accident like this. And I'm starting to realize that now. But yeah, just little things like when they label things like whether it's severe or mild, and, you hear someone has a mild one, I'm like, oh, all right, well, that might be one game, but usually that's 2. And then you kind of learn those are just words. Each one's a little bit different, and I definitely can relate to how scary it is when you don't know if you will feel right again. But it's definitely made me more educated on it. Usually I just listen and tell me when, okay, and I move on. But I understand it a lot better and what guys got to go through and the protocol to get back, which there's not a protocol for me on paper, but it's really cool to be in a building that kind of majors in that type of profession that knows what to do with those things. So all the people that I need help from, it was already built in here, and they got a lot of experience with it, and it's been really good for me.
Does Ricky Pearsall's injury, perhaps in combination with what you've seen from Stribling in practices, change the plan for Stribling at all? Make you think that he could do maybe a little bit more this season than perhaps when you drafted him?
I mean, losing Ricky was a real big deal. I mean, that's we've had a number of injuries in camp, but that's really the only one that's actually been not just a camp injury. And losing a player like Ricky is a huge deal. It ties to everybody. So you'd hope for Stribling, you hope for Mike, you hope for that whole group. You hope a lot of people have to step up, but no one here is wired exactly how Ricky is. They're all a little bit different, so you do lose a big part of what we were planning on. And that's where guys do have to step up. That's what gets frustrating when guys like Stribling, tweak a muscle and stuff, because, yeah, you want guys to step up, but you got to train them to do it. They got to work to do it, and they got to be out there to be able to do it at an NFL level, which is coming real fast.
Certain thing that you knew you had to do that kind of proved that you were back or were very close with the team meeting maybe we heard about?
The team meeting was a big step for me. It was just, when the concussion stuff just was weird. You feel just more emotional and stuff. People don't take this the wrong way, but I joke with my wife. I'm like, no, it feels like you're in menopause. It's different, and you're emotional and things. So it was different to get in front of groups and things like that. But once you do that and you get past the hard parts of it, it becomes pretty easy. You just got to get back to getting used to it. The main things of getting over. I thought after my first team meeting, I was like, perfect. I'm out of the woods. I'm good, and felt good most of that day. But then it hit me real bad that night, and then the next day, and I was like, all right, maybe I don't want to do that every day yet. And that's kind of how everything's gone in this. And I can't tell you guys how close it is. I'm getting there. There's no doubt I will be there. And from what I do with the team, I kind of already feel there. So.
John Lynch was talking about how you were in talks with Deebo Samuel for about a month before it all worked out. Does losing Ricky Pearsall also change how you were going to use Deebo Samuel and maybe how much he could do for you?
Not really. I mean, they're just two completely different types of players. Deebo was someone that, we were hoping it would work out, depending on Deebo's other opportunities and what it could be here. But that was something that we were hoping for a long time could work out, and it ended up working out for both of us. But that, the Ricky thing changed nothing.
Is this session that you're having with us now part of your, goal to kind of push yourself as much as you can?
Definitely. I mean, that's why they tell me not to plan anything. That's why, yesterday, it was like a week ago, I'm like, guys, I'm doing media tomorrow. And then I was so glad they didn't tell you guys, because I woke up the next morning, I'm like, there's no way I can do it right now. And then I didn't tell anyone today, but then I just felt like doing it. And I want to do it. I want to get back to fully 100% being normal. And unfortunately, this is part of 100% of being normal. So.
You didn't decide that this morning, or was it even during practice?
No, it was more during practice. It was actually more when I was trying to talk Clay about practice, and he was ignoring me, getting ready to talk to you guys. I was like, oh, I'll go do it. I got it right now. So.
Now realize that you can delegate that you haven't been able to do, that maybe it's worth delegating in the future, that, okay, I don't need to do it. So many things.
Yes, but I've also done a lot more of that in the last few years than people realize. I haven't called last year I didn't call one play in preseason. I don't always call plays out on the field. I've started most of that since Clay's gotten here. It's been nice to not have to go to staff meetings. We've had some staff meetings where we just go over injuries and stuff and things like that, which I'm always at. And, I've missed those, so I could actually focus on a few more film things. So that's been good. And just knowing that if you didn't even come and you just watched a practice, that it's going to go pretty much the same as if you were there. You don't know that till you see it. And that's why I can't speak highly enough about all the guys around here.
Is there any reconciliation you had to do with Deebo after he asked to be traded, and how you guys are together now?
Yeah, it's funny how, Deebo's always been one of the closest guys we've been to, just relationship-wise. When Deebo went through his contract negotiations, you try not to put words in his mouth, but I think he thought it'd be advantageous to make it look like there was a little bit of a battle. Sometimes that helps, sometimes it doesn't. But people forget that Deebo, those OTAs, I was at Deebo's house on the 8th OTA day. and us talking about how all of that was just BS. He came to minicamp. Like, we had a great summer together. I think he signed the first day back at training camp. So we got over that in OTAs. And that was just stuff from the negotiating periods back in April and stuff like that. There were stuff, definitely. That made me like, what the hell's going on? We're not around Debo. And then we see him in OTAs, and we got to talk man to man, and it was fine as soon as we got with each other.
Dre had talked about that he reached out to Debo during that process of like, hey, there's no place like San Fran. Obviously, those guys are kind of tone setters for you. What does it mean specifically? Obviously, you wouldn't bring them back if they couldn't play still, but what does it mean just in terms of like influence and energy in the locker room and things like that?
I mean, it's huge, but energy in the locker room and stuff, and just how people that all comes off of what players see off the field. And I feel like our fans could almost answer that question. You know, they know what Debo looks like when he has the ball in his hands. But Washington fans, just from the year they had with him, know what he looks like when he has the ball in his hands. I think everyone here knows what Dre looks like and how he plays. And that's exactly how he looked on tape. You know, he didn't get to play a ton last year, coming back from his stuff, about half the year. But he looks exactly like the guy that we all know. So to be able to bring back some enforcers like that who play exactly how we want everybody to play, but those are two special dudes that I haven't been around two people like that in my career, really, who play that way. That stuff's huge. Just knowing they're in here gets guys pumped up, and they've been away from a year, but to see them out there, they look exactly like the guys I remember.
Coaches watch a lot of film. Does the concussion impact your ability to watch film? Does it bother you after a lot of film watching?
It did more at first. You know, I've never had vision issues and stuff, but it's always just been. I'm usually a guy who doesn't get that overstimulated. I can handle a lot of things, and now when I do too much film at first, I kind of have to take a little more breaks. Like they make fun of me because I never get bathroom breaks, and now I kind of do. Halfway through, I tell the coaches to go out. I take like 10 minutes and just relax my eyes a little bit and made it easier. But I haven't done that probably in the last 5 film sessions, so it just shows how much better I'm getting, and that's why I believe that whenever you use words, it can be way off, but I feel like most of the concussion part to me is gone, except just fatigue and headaches. So it's, but being overstimulated, things like that, I'm doing a lot better at.
What is the expectation for in camp again in a second straight year at least? Has it felt like a lot to you? Is it, or just in your mind, camp injuries and we'll get through it?
It feels, pretty normal, give or take 3. I think it does happen a number of times in camp. We also have a number of guys coming into camp that didn't go on PUP that we weren't trying to throw back in there right away. And that stuff's always frustrating in camp. That's why you sometimes want it a little bit longer. You know, but the thing that frustrates you the most is when you lose a guy. And there's one guy like that right now, which we've had to grieve for a little bit, and then you got to figure out how to adjust and move on from it.
Thought process with the jog through?
We used to go 3 days on and take 1 full day off and then go 3 days on again. We look into everything, and we thought that it would be better for us this year to never go 3 full days in a row. But if you only go 2 full days in a row and then take a day off, you don't really build anything. So we thought it would be better to go 2 full days, full speed, then have a kind of mental day where they're not totally off their feet. We're jogging through, no one's competing, we're not throwing a football, but they're still moving their body, which kind of is a little bit of a recovery. And then the 4th day, you get our hardest practice of that set, and then you get a day off. So it ends up being about the same, just trying a different way on how you juggle it, and it makes sense science-wise and everything. But there's a lot more that goes into it than just science.
Expectation of a 33-year-old Mike Evans.
What's that?
What's the expectation of a 33-year-old Mike Evans? Do you have to expect him to have the same workload as his last healthy season, which was 2024, or are you kind of navigating that as he returns or gets back healthy?
Mike, it depends if he stays healthy. Mike, to me, is always, if you're a starting receiver, you're out there a ton. Mike, which everyone is, but I forget what it was last year, maybe hamstring, where he missed time, and when that happens, you miss games. But Mike's going to be a starting receiver here, and we don't like any of our guys to go every play. We want our guys going full speed, and it's hard to go full speed every play, so we're always going to spell guys. But he's got a little quad right now, which I know Mike probably believes he could be back right now. We're being smart with him, but he's going to be good to go.